But Venus was a real great thing. I don't know how to stop that. Wait. Yep. I want to make a
All the cool kids want scorpions.
Yeah, get yourself a scorpion. So remember not to open the same final chest every time. So this floor we only need sneak. I think if there was a floor to farm on, it would be like this floor. Except for the spiders are ass.
I don't know. Dad, can I come over? Anyway, you put it up. And that's all I'm doing for it. I think it's in that stop. Yeah. I still remember. Oh no. Oh!
There.
You're so far.
Dynamite's okay?
Yeah, they're fine.
What is up there? The thing you notice, all of what I have right now, all these cameras don't have to find.
Spider's looking right at us over there.
They want to come over and give us an AoE slow like a bunch of fucks.
Right? There's a monster.
I just put him to sleep. We can ignore him too.
Yeah, I'll just ignore him.
Okay, I need to try to upgrade a couple things. For the lustreless scales, do you just trade those to the Unity NDC with the item that you're upgrading?
Yeah. Yeah, because you already started upgrading it, so yeah, just trade it. And you could trade stacks and stacks and stacks, but once you get to like 14, I don't know if they'll give you back all the extras that you do. But each scale is worth 5 rank points.
Yeah, they just only take what you give them, what they need.
Oh, okay, okay.
Alright, cool.
Are gnats true sight? I can't remember.
No, I don't think anything on here is.
Okay.
Maybe the last floor.
That's right, it's in my log.
The gnats can suck TP and the ladybugs can give us amnesia. But they're pretty low HP.
And I'm right in the middle there. Like, how tough are those dynamics?
I heard like full decked out paladins, they fucking chunk them with their autos.
Oh. Okay.
There it is.
So, don't pull the bard. Gotcha.
Yeah, we could do like all these fucking gnats and shit around here.
Look at this dynamite here.
Thanks, dude.
Stay here. Don't you listen to no. Is this it? Right there. I think so. What?
I got one. Okay, cool. Got some dynamite.
Nice. Okay.
You okay, shirt? Oh my god, shirt. Oh my god.
That's okay. I could probably cure 5 myself.
Oh yeah, me too.
Next face. I shot with me to have next. Okay, so where's the keep on the weapons? Oh, okay, fire there.
Take them downtown.
Bye. Yeah. Hey, I street you. Just go.
guy's just spamming fucking TP. What a bitch. Oh my god, right when I was weapon skilling.
Yeah, me too. Same thing. I've already got it.
How much does the chunk of Daitetsu usually go for?
Like 600k for a stack. Well, I think it's down to 500k right now. I think everything is going to come down a little bit because a better ambuscade.
Wait, what? Where are you?
Oh, ooh, I thought that ladybug was coming. Oh, Cho. Fucking that.
Whoa, what the fuck is a demon's nettle?
That's for Dynamis. You can trade 3 of them and get a thing. Or you could just sell it for like 1 million.
Yeah. That's stuff.
You still sing? Yeah, that's the main one. But then when you decided that that was
Man, provoke needs to be on a shorter cooldown.
Oh, that's not. Oh, that's not.
Body pull.
Easy loot, dude.
That's it for you, right? Your chest?
Yeah.
Yes.
This was not my bonus chest.
Yeah, same for me.
This was not Sutter's bonus chest. Now, see, I wonder if that one's his bonus chest every time, or if it switches after you find it. Dude, trying to get these fucking items so you can upgrade the equipment that you get from here is ass, man.
Alright, what next? How much time we got?
Mom?
Uh, Anybody want to do Cloud of Darkness? Anybody? Anybody?
Yes, absolutely.
Is it okay if I bring Abby in?
Yeah.
No!
She needs gear so bad. What do you guys need out of it still?
The neck.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And the back would be nice too.
Yeah, I still need neck on shirt, but I'm gonna wait till Lion gets his. And then I could probably use the back on sweater, I think. Because it's generally badass.
Want to bring 2 thieves?
Yeah, I don't mind. I'm for sure going thief.
Yeah, I'll bring 2 thieves to help pop that treasure hunter up there.
I'm pretty sure I have the key item, but I'm gonna double check. And I have 75 merit, so I could do it twice. Well, maybe. Sweater probably has 75 merits, I'm sure. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I can do it 3 times. Because I went and got that thing.
Yeah, I could do it 3 times as well.
That's it for now. I'm gonna go switch to Paladin. I'd be down for a very difficult ambuscade.
I'm making nothing and you can't survive it and then this. I need to get away.
You think you can sleep everything?
Oh wait, what are you guys doing?
He asked if we wanted to do one quick, very difficult ambuscade.
Oh, yeah, sure. Definitely Abby cannot sleep everything.
Yeah, well, he's red mage.
Oh, Bart.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Work back, I guess.
You know, I'm staying samurai then for now. And I'll go get one of those things.
Where was it? It was a book, right?
No, you teleport. It's like Raverne number 2 in the waypoints in Nodolan.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
The frogs.
Is changing to something else.
Oh, he's changing?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll switch to red mage.
I'll wait out here for y'all.
Oh, he's gonna. Oh. Why is it a 3-minute solo for him?
Oh.
I'll come on my warriors. Just in case shit gets weird.
Let me fucking think. Oh my god, I still have 8 sills on sweater. Well, I'm gonna pop a sill on sweater so I can get them points. Cleo, do you need the item?
Yeah, I'm coming.
Okay.
Just slow as fuck with these things.
As I'm trying to ask.
Thanks, man. Number 2, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Get it? Whammy.
Let me help you with this. I know that. Yeah. I'll try. And then one more right before the big jump. Not there, no. Okay, instead of with our luck, instead of
Come on, load already.
oh, that was so cool. I just shoot you, and then obviously, just not stop over here. I'm gonna leave. It's over like after we shut like downstairs. Why the heck?
Alright, so we get to watch this puppet master work.
Yeah, I'm curious as to how this goes down. Like, how?
You just 2 hours and then the puppet souls it?
Yeah.
And I think we literally just don't do anything.
The automaton is like stupid fucking strong under puppet's 2 hour. Clearly your leader.
Oh, I am. Gee, thanks. Oh, Jesus. I'm like, yeah, okay, we'll just wait.
But they said, I don't know about doing this without my Corsair, so I was like, I mean, I could drop to make room for your Corsair. I know I'm not gonna play no goddamn Bard songs.
I just noticed, I think I can't bring it.
Yeah.
I got inside there. What are you guys doing?
I'm going to go pick the garbage down. When I come back in,
Yeah.
I put the dishwasher back on after lunch. Can I help you unpack it when I come back in?
I didn't feel good.
You couldn't pause it for 10 minutes.
We can.
Yeah, to get the job done. It's supper time. It's mostly big things. It's not very much. But I'll help as it is big.
Go get it, little Aqua. And 40k Bone Crusher, and he's hitting for like 1,000 every time.
Oh!
Ow.
I just got one shot. What the fuck?
That's what you get. Don't look at it like that, man. Am I too close?
I don't know. I came way the fuck out here.
Oh, Jesus. No, Abby.
So what's gonna happen when his 3-minute buff runs off?
Are we gonna... Oh, it's almost dead. Halfway, 40%.
So like, does it just not get to summon fucking ads if just a fucking automaton is fighting it or something?
30%. I don't know, man. It's crazy.
Did it not get TT or something? Is it using TT moves?
Well, he definitely used a couple and fucking murdered you.
Yeah, that's right. But that was Chainspell that killed me.
Yes, don't put any.
Oh, but that was one right there.
No, thank you. Like, just don't like it. Go next, like, okay. No, I want
Boom.
to.
That's just silly, bro.
Okay.
Mitchell. Like all wall demons.
Well, you got here. Put your foot up in his cocoon.
That has nothing to do with the wall demons that he's facing.
Okay, I need to go work out with my wife real quick. So, if you guys want to run a cloud without me, that's fine. I probably need like 30 to 45 minutes.
Okay. Talk to you later, man.
All right.
Alrighty.
Here, I'll get Abby to raise you.
Yes, please.
Why do you?
Do you still want to go try one?
Yeah, man.
Alright, cool.
Yeah, I can solo it, so with you it'll
Oh,
be a lot easier.
okay. Thank you.
You're doesn't it? It makes something go like this. It's very. Close to the phone. That's it. Okay, speaking of
I need to change my idle set for Paladin. I'll do that later though.
You grabbing Pally? All right. That's all right.
honestly how it's done. Very ugly.
Very easy.
Can you get here from all the crags?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, it is. I could just stop. So, okay, so I'm gonna put it if you
Is very easy. We won't be able to do easy.
Yeah. Yeah, not without a shirt.
Give me a sec. Let me set up here, please. Oh, Navi.
Sure, just let me...
Yeah, that's it. Did I? Yeah. I'm making this crazy long one that I think I'm gonna make sure we drop it to the pool. The thing is, I want to get up with me. I'm gonna transport it. Oh yeah, everything just gone. No, I used to. Not everything. I killed them. Look, why did the FK-32 keep going? Because then we tried to set it. We got up there and go. Oh.
Let me know when you're.
Yep, just one sec here. 8...
What's up for me? But this, I can't think of something really good. This is better than. Dude, that's pretty cool. Yeah, and so I'm gonna go to the able to see it now.
Alright, that's probably good for now. Let me just reload. There. Alright, I'm good to go.
1 second. Why the fuck is this here?
I can do. I can just do protect.
It's okay, she's already doing it.
Oh, okay.
I'll do it. Alright.
Hey, Zoe, get the fuck out of here, bro. Zoe, not right now, dude. Alright. You good?
Yeah, I think so. Go for it.
Zoe, fuck. God damn it, my cat. Zoe!
Go do that.
Get out of there, bro. There you go. Alright, cool. Alright, I'm gonna run to the corner here.
Mom, is that you?
Mom won't be home for a while, guys.
Again.
Why not?
Not to any footage.
And do you need the parts too?
No.
Action here.
It happens so much, but I think it should be that.
What did you do? Yes, you don't need it. Alright, lock it to the that was so fun. I'm gonna go with the there. It's blue.
Alright, we're fucking healing him.
Please. I can't really see his like glow. Oh, now I can see it now.
Yeah. Should be good now.
Yeah.
Alright, ads are coming out. I do not understand the aggro on these guys.
Don't either.
Okay, so, alright, we're good to melee this guy.
Let's kill this little fucker first.
simple. Well, it's finished. I just need to tell you how it is the vegetable.
Is it the worst?
Did you ever put on the video from there? Is that a bridge or what is that?
Is there room?
Oh my.
I guess we could put like something called redstone on his body.
Great.
And they have
No war.
redstone block, the redstone bushes. Redstone when I'm in right now.
Oh, actually.
You don't make it, right? You make it. I think it's probably easy.
Any sense. Oh. Let's go do that.
Healing her? Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah. She's. Oops. Fuck. Alright, look out for the Zorb. I think we're good, yeah. All my MP. Alright, time
Just
to
take it off.
chivalry. Lost it. Oh. Nice. Well.
Oh, happy.
I do like that fight.
It's fun, you know. Like you get some flavor.
Yeah.
My wife just got home. I'm gonna AFK for a bit.
Alright.
All right, I'll talk to you later, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Bye.
See ya.
Was wrong. This killing didn't create a million more Charlie Kirks. There's always been a million more, and there always will be, because it doesn't take a lot of talent to get up in front of a camera and say dumb shit. I should know. Some people make it to the top and kick the ladder away, while I make it slightly above the bottom and extend as many ladders as possible with my segment, Oops, All Ladders. Today's ladder is Thomas Skeen. He made a hilarious and well-researched video that will help you explain January 6th and how awful it was to your ADHD Ritalin-addled peers. Go check out his video in the description. If you want to be on ladders, email me at thesoypill@gmail.com with the subject line ladders and a link to your channel. As always, thanks to my patrons, and especially my top tier patrons: Ash, Nipple Fisting, Died Famous, Church, Anita Bonghit, Astrocosmos, Omega Omelet,
Anita
Bo the
Bonghit.
Banana, and Golf, Horton Grew, Marche Taylor, Big Mac 1906, Broke Gemini 1907, Babowski, Dr. Pepper Lover, Take Mamoru, Mr. Blonde, Keandre Dorsey, Rip Fluffy Man, AIO, Sniping Cow, Ash Again, Dean, Banana Earth Theory, Mr. Thoughtless, Elusive RG, Shri Kumar, Joseph S, Chris T, Mad, Toby the Robot, and Evan A. And don't forget to type 1 to end the deep state.
Okay.
Why not debate a real hard right man? You want to attach it to Fuentes or some other clown at a bullfight? Engage with the true mythic man, or shut the fuck up. I don't know what you mean by that.
I have no
I
idea
don't.
what that means.
I don't know why you're real hard right now, but that's crazy.
Yep, Wick, you were trying to detach the fact, the reason I posed this hypothetical, although it is funny, is the idea that you could only stop this thing if they're dead. Locking them up will only prolong it.
I think
running away, they're going
to
find you.
Remove an obstacle, yeah.
Right, and you can celebrate removing that obstacle, right?
Again, no. You can celebrate that no longer you will live under the threat of rapins, okay?
The only
but if you're like, I'm glad
happened...
that bastard died, I hope he suffered.
Yeah, well, hold on. You're attaching that extra part at the end. I hope he suffered. You don't have to celebrate the fact that he was in pain. Maybe it was quick. Maybe you got him with a quick blow to the back of the head. You didn't see him coming. He didn't even know he was going to die, all right? Now that we know this person didn't suffer, you're not celebrating his pain. You're not celebrating torturing him. You're not celebrating any sort of psychological damage. You're saying, this ended because he died, and I'm happy about that. That's wrong, because you're somehow able to semantically separate these ideas. I'm saying you can't separate these ideas. This man dying was the only reason the bad thing happened, or stopped happening.
Okay, again, this is going to be the major disagreement we have. I think that you should, and in fact, it is necessary to separate these things, because if you don't, if you keep tying them together, right, it creates a permission structure for people. Because why shouldn't you just celebrate the death of Trump? Let's use Trump as an example. Why shouldn't you just, why should you only celebrate his death? Why not celebrate the politicians who supported his death? Because they're, again, they going away makes him less powerful and less able to do his things, right? Why shouldn't you celebrate that? Why shouldn't you celebrate the voters who voted for him dying?
Let's take a step back. Would you celebrate Trump losing the election?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so you obviously are okay with the idea of people are happy that Trump isn't doing Trump stuff anymore. That's apparent, self-evident, obviously, right? I'm not trying. This isn't a gotcha. So I'm trying to pose to you that there are cases in which a bad thing can only stop with someone's death, and somehow you are always supposed to feel bad about the death part, even if the only way the bad thing could cease is that person's death.
You don't have to feel bad about it. You don't have to feel anything at all.
You just can't be happy.
I am not asking you, even though perhaps, and that might be another thing that I would have to think about further, whether or not you should feel some empathy or sympathy for the guy, right? But my argument today, right, my argument tonight, is that you shouldn't feel happy about someone else dying. Because again,
every celebration of the ending, if it was intrinsically tied to the death, every single time that happens, you should have a little voice in the back of your head to be like, hey, I know you're happy, all the bad things are stopping, but be careful. And
yes, I think that if everyone had that voice, the world would be a better place.
Okay. I can agree with you that if you had people checking
you
themselves,
agree with that premise, though, right? That if everyone behaved like
me,
it would be better than if everyone behaved the way you want to behave.
No, I think you would lead to this radical, empathetic danger where it's like, whoa, we can't be...
Radical, empathetic
Literally,
world.
this is
how
like
terrible. Oh, no, not
like
a horrible...
A paradox of tolerance where it's
world.
like, well, shit, like, well, maybe I don't want to stop it with death, but sometimes death is the only way you can do it. And this is going to make me sound like this fucking right-winger, but this is reminding me of all their arguments where it's like, the people are like, oh, if someone breaks into your house and is trying to threaten your family, can't you shoot them in the leg, or can't you do something can't you do a humane trap so they can't get... No, you should blow them out of the fucking water with whatever means you can, and if they stop, and that was the only way to save your family, you can be happy about that. Fuck yeah, I just saved my fucking family. Sucks I had to kill a guy. I wish there was another way, but you know what? I'm happy he's not doing it anymore. And then you go and find out, wow, every night this guy broke into a new house and was doing this, and I stopped that? Fuck yeah, I got him. I'm celebrating the fact that I got him. And the fact that you couldn't possibly do that is insane to me.
But again, you're trying to tie these things together, and this is what you keep doing, that you can celebrate the fact that you stopped someone from doing something bad versus, I'm glad he's dead. There's a difference here. $5 from Sarcastic Warlock to say, and he quotes, man does not strive for happiness, only the Englishman does that, from Friedrich Nietzsche. Fair enough. $5 from Zephyr Hash to say what Wick is saying is that some part of him will start to miss it. JK, I only mean spread love even if you don't want it. Thank you for the $5.
I think this is we'll circle the drain on this, but we can leave it on this. Morally,
Sure.
you believe that you can always separate the cessation of bad things from death, no matter what the case is. And I am saying there are absolutely always, not even close to a majority, but a portion of things that are bad, that are happening, that can only cease with death. And just because you're not happy that you have to cause death to make those bad things cease, you are absolutely allowed to celebrate when they happen, and that's a death because the bad thing is ceasing. And you can be a little sad, like, yeah, I wish I didn't have to kill this person to make it end, but god damn it, I'm happy that it ended, and it was only could happen through their death, so I'm happy they're dead. Absolutely.
And I'll just end with this. We are circling on this one. I want to get to the strategic portion of
Yeah, we can talk about object hacking. Just, I'm bringing this up. I can't show you, but this is... Wick condemns every single one of these people in this photo, reading the Hitler Dead newspaper and smiling. So... On Veterans Day, Wick, no less.
It depends on why the Veterans Day was yesterday.
Whatever. Who gives a shit about that?
Oh, yeah, whatever. The veterans don't fucking matter, right? But regardless, I think that hate is addicting. And the more you do it, and the more you're happy when harm befalls others, even no matter how justified you think it is that harm befell them, no matter how necessary you think it is that harm befell them. When you get a dopamine rush, when you start to feel celebratory, when you start to throw a little party, even in your mind, that when these things happen, I think it makes you, it's addicting. You seek it out. You begin to seek out more of this, and if you can't find your hit when an evil person gets their comeuppance, you start to lower your bar just a little bit.
I want you to bring Ukrainian Anna back on.
Let me.
I gotta interrupt and say, I want you to bring Ukrainian Anna on and tell her that she would be a bad person for celebrating the death of the guy who's Shahid droning her every night for the past
told her
year.
That. We have had this discussion on stream.
What did she say to you?
You can go watch. You can go watch. She didn't agree, obviously, but I did. I absolutely did tell her.
It's a lot easier for you to say we're not being Shahided every night, right? Like
I don't believe
like she's like just bombs are exploding all around her. Her friends and family next door are dying.
I don't
and it's like,
think that the
be careful of the
it's
evil in your heart, Anna, that you fear.
Hold on. I don't think the argument is sometimes it's harder to be a good person is a convincing one. Yes, that's just true. I'll just grant you that. Sometimes it's very, very, very hard to do the right thing because you have every incentive in the world telling you not to do that thing, right? Every incentive in the world is telling you you should indulge yourself in the hate. You should indulge yourself in the celebration of your enemy's demise. But I would argue, and as I have, that it makes you worse as a person. $10 from Sarcastic Warlock to say, thank you, Sarcastic Warlock. You were very generous today. It says, struggle is the father of all things. It is not by the principles of humanity that man lives or is able to preserve himself above the animal world, but solely by means of the most brutal struggle. Okay. Let's get to the strategic element of it. I'm sure you've seen... Let's start with Charlie Kirk here. I'm sure you've seen the memes. Right? I'm sure you've seen the people...
I've never seen or made fun of Charlie Kirk.
No?
No, I've seen the Kirk. Everyone's Kirking it right now. Straight up Kirking it.
Straight up Kirking it. Okay. Do you think that that is helping us politically?
Thank you again, Fox. It depends. So, I post Charlie Kirk moment weeks or two after. A week or two after. I said, fucking A, this is awful. They're validating their victim complex. They're going to use this to crack down on free speech. They're going to use this to take gun rights away from trans people. Now it's been, what, 2 months? And I'm like, never mind. Everyone kind of forgot. I don't care. Because they were doing this 10 years ago, before any political assassinations. They were doing this for years. They've been demonizing us. They've been saying it's the radical, violent left. They're vermin. They're fascists. Every single bad thing that they ever said after Charlie Kirk, they were saying before. And maybe this pushed them a little bit to speed things up in terms of their crackdowns. But it seems to me that no matter what we did, they were going to do this anyway. They were going to find the worst of the worst of the worst. They're able to take the rhetoric from left-wing politicians now excluding Jay Jones, who don't really say anything that fucking crazy, and they're able to paint it as if they're like the worst of the worst. They're the Hitlers of the world. So if they're able to do that, I don't give a fuck that someone is out there going, oh, ho, 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 neck, or whatever, you know, with their freedom shirt on. Whatever, dude. Like, yeah, this is the straw man of what they're pointing out, but they were going to do it anyway. So, optics-wise, I would have agreed with you 20 years ago. Now, I just don't care.
The issue is that we can see that it has helped them. It becomes harder and harder for people to draw lines between, and I think we should. Well, let me just ask you this. Do you think it's important that the average American voter see a stark difference between the right and the left?
Yes.
Yes. Do you think that when we begin to behave like the right does, that it makes it harder for the average voter to see the difference between the right and the left, even if it's just in small ways?
Because there's a right-wing propaganda machine that is going to portray us as the worst possible version of ourselves no matter what, taking one person at one protest or one tweet and saying, this is the whole left. So it didn't really matter. Now, I don't think that is an invitation for us to all become that way. I'm certainly not going to be out there celebrating political violence.
Why not? If it doesn't have any... If it doesn't make you a worse person, and it doesn't hurt politically, why not?
Because I think there is a mass of people that could make this way worse. For example, if every Democratic politician was celebrating this, I think that would be very bad. I think that would leave room for a lot of normies who aren't permanently online to then also feel as if it is okay for them. In the same way that Trump's rhetoric has led to the rise of a lot of right-wing movements, you could absolutely have this shift the other way. But when you say, oh, if one person did this here or here, is that really like hurting us optically? No, I really don't think so, because that was happening anyway. The degree to which they are punishing or portraying us as evil. I mean, I just saw this with the Charlie Kirk stuff. I was at this TPUSA thing in Berkeley. There was some protesters there. I think I saw a video of like 1 or 2 people getting in a scuffle. Maybe one person pushed a barrier. When I was there, nothing crazy was happening. The cops were literally, I didn't take photos of this, but you can kind of see it in my stream, sitting around on their fucking phones because it wasn't very dangerous. It was not violent. It was not a riot. What are all the headlines? What were they saying in the rally? The crazy left is trying to silence you. They're rioting. They're setting off fireworks. They want to murder you. They all want to make you into Charlie. They're going to do this anyway. Absolutely, 1000%. So no, I don't think a few people celebrating this is like, well, this is the end of like left-wing optics. I think spending time on this and like trying to scold that specific, you know, person who said something weird, it's just not worth it anymore. Like I was calling out Destiny like you were for his takes on this stuff right after the Charlie Kirk stuff, because I'm like, holy shit, I think this is going to get people killed. I think this might radicalize your base. Now I'm like, look, we just fucking killed it on Tuesday. It didn't fucking matter. Absolutely not. So you know what?
Hold on.
Whatever.
Hold on. Why do you think that we won on Tuesday? And first of all, you do recognize that all the people who condemned violence, who did it and didn't celebrate the Kirk stuff, they outperformed by 10 plus points. People like Jay Jones.
Jay Jones won, though.
But he, again, was 11 points behind Spanberger.
Okay.
And what was it, like 6, 7 points behind the lieutenant governor?
Okay. Still won.
He still
Mom
won.
Donnie barely won. He barely scraped by.
He won
the most anti-violence positivity campaign ever, and he barely scraped by. Right? Like it depends on what you say.
Again, that wasn't against MAGA. That was blue on blue. Right? That was him against Cuomo. Right? It's a different.
The right hasn't moved on.
Different calculation that has to be made there.
Well, then how can you judge the performance of all of these other races? Like you can't take into account like, well, hey, this is AG versus governor, and maybe this one has more visibility, or hey, like you can't say all of the underperformance is directly due to his like violent comments in these text messages.
What do you think it was due to?
It could be a million things. I actually don't know. I'm sure you could do an analysis on this, but there would have to be exit polls of people saying I voted for Spanberger, but not Jay Jones.
Exit polls.
Can you show me? I mean, I know you don't have this offhand.
I don't have it up, right?
Could you bring up something that's like, hey, the reason he underperformed was because of his comments, or is it similar to other AG races? But ultimately, like, it doesn't seem to matter all that much for if the average, like, 1 in a million fucking leftist says something fucking crazy because they're going to blow it up anyway. I agree that politicians shouldn't be doing this. In an ideal world that you and I agree, Jay Jones should not be elected saying that kind of shit. But ultimately, it does not seem like it's hurting our electoral chances. So optically, like the optics argument, I think is completely lost after Tuesday.
I disagree. I think Tuesday showed that optics matter. If it wasn't such a blue wave, right? Spanberger still would have pulled it out. If we were in a D+1 environment or an R+1 environment, Spanberger still would have won. Jay Jones would not have. And that is the difference, right? In a different environment, when we are looking at Trump doing all these crazy shits and things like that, and we have a more normal opponent, right? It absolutely is going to matter, right? Who is more optics-minded than the other. And I think Tuesday demonstrated that. We could see it was measurable. It was measurable. We saw the people who didn't engage in that rhetoric do very well, and we saw the people who did do much worse. I think that blows the optics don't matter argument out of the water.
Wait, hold on. Maybe we can agree on this. Optics matter in normal environments. If you have two equally good candidates and one of them is endorsing political violence, that's going to be horrible optics. They will perform worse, 1,000%. We agree on this. In the environment that we are in now, against the Trump sycophantry and the MAGA movement, I don't think optics matter. Because no matter what, the right-wing machine is going to paint you as the worst possible version. They're going to say that you, like, if the right-wing machine can come out and say, every Democrat is the party of pedophiles, they are coming for your children, and then you think that somehow amplifying a guy who made fun of a Charlie Kirk meme or made fun of his death is going to shift a right-wing person who is on board with the Democrats are pedophiles messaging, I don't think that matters. In a normal primary, it matters, versus two normal candidates. In a general election versus a normal Republican, it absolutely matters. Right now, it does not matter a single fucking bit, I don't think. Not enough, not even close.
$10 from a sarcastic warlock to say, Wick, you're desperate to pretend we don't exist and join us to a facade of the right. Yet we are here. Your hate may go harsh, but our love for our people endures. We love you, but stop betraying us. Warlock, look.
Who's us?
We'll talk later, Warlock. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't. I do not understand where you're coming from. But thanks for the money, buddy.
What is? Yeah, who's us? Is he like a groper?
I don't know. I have no idea. I've never seen him in my chat before. He's. I don't know, but he knows me apparently. But here's the deal. I think that even in this environment, I'll give you that I think that Trump is destroying this country so hard and so brazenly that we could nominate Destiny and all his comments, and I think
how'd it go?
Okay, I think we could nominate.
We didn't get any drops.
I would think we could nominate you, and we would still eke it out. I think it doesn't matter who we nominate. That in this environment, it's going so poorly for the Republicans that the Democrats are just.
Is it open at 15 minutes or an hour and 15 minutes?
Well, what's next?
I have no clue. They didn't. They only said
live in a world where
we might be doing it if people are here.
Right? I don't.
Yeah.
I want to live in a world where we're governed by people more like Spanberger. And I think that it absolutely, when especially leaders, okay, especially our politicians, they are examples, and they create permission structure for their party. Look at Trump. Trump, being as bad as he is and as rhetorically abhorrent as he is, has created a permission structure for the worst of the worst on the right to rise to prominence, to gain power, to normalize all these kinds of not only violent rhetoric, right, but hateful rhetoric and things like that. I think we can agree on this, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so again, when our politicians start to celebrate the death of our enemies, cheer it on, say things like Jay Jones does, I think it also normalizes that for us, and I don't think that's going to be
But that's not happening yet.
It's not happening. What do you mean it's not happening?
Even Jay Jones wasn't celebrating the deaths of other people. He was saying, if you read the text messages themselves, which again I disagree with, and in the same way you do, but it seems like maybe you've misinterpreted.
Yeah,
he was saying
already
maybe they should suffer from their policies. Maybe her children need to die in her arms or something like that, right? It's not, oh, I'm so happy that my opponents died. Even our mainstream politicians aren't doing that.
I think it was close enough for government work, man. Like,
No, actually, if you want to say the real example, you can go back to the Saddam Hussein clip, although this wasn't his death, where they say, "Ladies and gentlemen, we got him," and everyone fucking celebrates fist bump, because yeah, fucking fist bump moment. But like, yeah, in the same way when we got Osama bin Laden, fuck yeah, we fucking got him. Like, I don't care that he died in that scenario, and I care that we got the guy who is gonna keep perpetuating terrorism. Like, it's insane to me that, like, yes, we can talk about our democratic politicians leading us into a slippery slope of normalizing people, dehumanizing people, but the idea that this now applies to the most extreme cases, we're back here. Like, is it optically bad to celebrate the death of Osama bin Laden? If anything, if you didn't celebrate, they might view you as weak and soft, and you might lose an election because they think you're not the hard person who's going to go out and take out our enemies, right?
So I think that celebrating the death of even someone like Osama bin Laden publicly, again, it showcases how little care we have for even our enemies. And I think that a country or a nation should, I think it is better for a country or nation to be seen as someone, as a nation that values life, rather than a nation that celebrates the death of their enemies.
Yeah, but you can value
and again,
life.
Celebrating
you can
victory
value
versus
life
celebrating
by
death of
killing
enemies
someone.
are not the same.
You can value, hey, I saved a bunch of lives by killing Hitler. That's valuing life. That's saying, let's stop the Holocaust. That's saying, let's stop the war in Ukraine by killing the person perpetuating it. That is a celebration of life.
I don't
What's
know
the
how you
results?
can say these things.
Well,
when
here,
we've
you
seen the
keep saying we
results
see
of
the
what
results.
this has
What are
done
the
to us
results?
as a nation.
What has that done to us? Where are the
What has
negative
done to
results?
us as a nation? We are now celebrating throwing immigrants in jail because they might be Muslim.
Because we celebrated the death of Osama bin Laden, you
In
think
part,
that is why?
yes.
That is the
That is
even
not the main
close to
reason,
more than
but
like
it created a permission
a
structure.
percent
It's a hat.
of why
Again, hate
ISIS
is a habit.
celebrated?
Hate is a habit. And
Do you
when we
think-
indulge in it, it makes it easier to indulge in it further down the road.
You would, to change my mind on this, you would need to show me the people that celebrated the death of Osama bin Laden are the same people endorsing the ICE inhumane practices. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of the right wing who's celebrating ICE right now probably celebrated the death of Osama bin Laden, but tying these things directly, I think, is such a leap. I don't even know how you have these two ideas in your head. Like, the dehumanization of people is bad, but celebrating Osama bin Laden is a big Venn diagram of, like, people who would be okay with doing that, and then, like, a little tiny overlap of people who want to celebrate, like, roughing up families and innocent people and throwing them out of the country and torturing them and throwing them in Guantanamo and throwing them in alligator Alcatraz. Like, those are completely different things to be celebrating. And just because a bunch of people who would celebrate all those horrible things would celebrate the death of Osama does not mean that that's a downstream of that. Those people are just, like, dehumanizing immigrants and dehumanizing brown people. Like, I don't know. I don't see how you can tie those two things together, but you can't separate the cessation of evil with the death of someone.
We're getting into the spiral again, but we'll go for it. We are, and this again, it's the crux of the issue. Can you separate?
I'll call him
these
Big
things?
Dog
How
once
much
at
can you
least,
separate
Regicide,
these
thank
things?
you.
Should they be separated? Et cetera, et cetera.
And thank you, Fox,
I would
again.
argue that people, again, individuals and stuff, celebrating when someone dies that they view as evil or bad, even in the case of Osama bin Laden, it showcases, it's like a window into the soul of our nation. And it sets precedent, and it sets a permission structure for how people are willing to behave. If you see the leaders of your nation or people in prominent positions of power and influence being okay with celebrating the death of someone they consider an enemy, you, again, take it upon yourself. You're like, oh, I guess that's okay to do. And a lot of people have a lot of really fucked up ideas about who's their enemy and who's not. And if we had a different culture, because we do need to compare the
Is there a
differences.
culture that exists where this idea is kind of like seen out that you can show me, like where no one celebrates the death of their worst enemies?
I can think of religious cultures and things like that where this is again I would point to actual Christianity. I would point to Buddhism. I would point to these things where yes, absolutely these things are frowned upon, and we look to empathize rather than hate. And I think that one of the falls of modern Christianity is they've decided to reject that particular teaching, and it's made them all the worse for it.
I guess if you're talking about, I guess I meant like a government, because sure, well, there's plenty of religions that are pacifist, but like the idea that a government and its leaders are practicing this like hyper empathy for even the worst human beings alive, and that's making their society better. I just don't see this.
You keep calling it hyper empathy. It's not hyper empathy.
Not celebrating Hitler's death is hyper empathy. I'm sorry.
No, that's not hyper empathy. I'm not asking you to be. I'm sad about Hitler's death. I'm asking you not to celebrate it, both strategically and morally.
Okay, well, we've circled around the moral argument. Do you not understand strategically how good it could be to celebrate the death of one of the worst human beings ever?
Give me your argument.
Sure. Do you think if you had two politicians running post, 1945, one of them was like, hey, American pride, we stopped the Nazis and we killed Hitler, awesome, and the other one's like, guys, stop celebrating Hitler's death. Which one do you think is going to win the fucking election?
Okay, I'm not asking you to scold people who do this. This is keep sneaking this in. I'm asking you to say hold on, the politician who is like, we saved Germany, versus the politician who says we killed Hitler. Which do you think resonates more with voters?
We can do both. The politician saying we killed Hitler is saying we saved Germany and killed Hitler. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Not, ladies and gentlemen, I regret to inform you that Saddam Hussein bumped his head when we captured him, and we're doing everything we can to make his suffering less bad. Anyway, we stopped Saddam Hussein. Is going to do poorly compared to the ladies and gentlemen, we got him politician.
$10 from Old School to say, Wick, if you think Dems are in the same universe as Victory in the midterms, I want what you're smoking. At least the crazy liberal fascism soy pill expresses will keep you from that.
Liberal fascism.
I don't understand the liberal fascism thing, but thank you for the $10. And yes, I think the Victory in the midterms is on the table. I think that we are cruising for
I agree with that, Canute.
A blue wave. I think that, again, in the context of American politics, well, as I said, if Trump died today, okay, Trump dead.
Crab emojis.
Do you think it would be better for us politically to not celebrate it, to express some condolences and sympathy, right, and just say, now we can get back to the governing our nation, right, and maybe we can turn a page on this, versus, yeah, I'm glad he's burning in hell, and posting all the memes you know are going to be posted, right? You probably got a few in the drafts, right, ready to go.
I did, because of that. I got baited when we thought he was going to die.
Yeah, I think that...
we don't even have to go into the hypothetical.
What do you think is going to do better for us politically? Which
obviously,
path?
I think if Democrat politicians were out there celebrating the death of a president, that would be really fucking bad for our country. I think that would hugely divide us. I think that would hugely radicalize the right. And I think that, yeah, we would be in a much worse spot. But again, I don't think that even most Republican politicians would have celebrated had Joe Biden died in office. And I think that's a good thing. Now, if people do it, if the citizens do it, if
public.
my immigrant friends and family do it, if my trans friends do it, if any person whose life has been fucked up that works for the government in the past few weeks said, thank God that fucking retard is dead, I don't think that's going to divide our country. No, I really don't.
I think it's going to make it harder for the Democrats to win. And I think it's going to be harder to get people who have been on the right onto our side, because we have decided to make a mockery of someone that they, even though they shouldn't, but they do consider him to be one of them, to be their champion, to be their leader. I think it
this world way,
alienates people that we don't need to alienate for no reason.
Big dog,
it doesn't
big
help.
Big dog. I gotta say this, all right? Imagine a world where someone is still on board with MAGA after everything that has happened, and they're switching over when he dies because the left doesn't celebrate. That's the thing that switches them over. Who the fuck are you talking about? Who are these people?
I think that there are people who just want to go back to normal, who want to...
The MAGA people want to go back to normal?
Yes, I think there are people on MAGA's side who want an off-ramp.
Thank you, Bionic
but we have,
Latino.
again,
I
we
agree.
have given them no off-ramps. We have shown them what happens to people when they try to
Yes,
come back.
Astra,
We
he
just
is
mock
really
them
saying that.
relentlessly. There's no way back for them in many cases. And we see this, a lot of extremist groups will do this on purpose. They will purposely separate the, well, I'll give you a great example, the KKK, okay? One of the things that the KKK does during their parades and their rallies and things like that is they put their kids up first. Do you know why they do that? So people will spit on their kids.
Because if they were in the back, you couldn't see them.
No, because people will spit on their kids as they go. And they take their kids and say, see, this is how they treat you. This is what they think of you. They call you a little kitty fascist. I think even Jay Jones said these fascist little kids, right? I think he made a similar comment, right?
Yeah.
This shows the kids that there is only one place where they're going to be ever loved or accepted, and it's a radicalizing tool that they use to keep people within the KKK, right? So every single meme that we put out about Trump dying and things like that is serving the same purpose. It is
celebrating
a bullet,
Trump dying as the
an
same
arrow
as
in their
spitting
quiver.
on a child.
Yes, they are using it for the same purpose. It is a similar tool.
They're doing it anyway is the point. They're
Hold
already...
on, it's far less effective. You keep saying that they're going to do it anyway. Sure, they will. I'll grant you that. But it's going to be far less effective if they have less ammo.
I
Okay?
agree.
They're going to hurt a lot
You
less
shouldn't
people if
always
there's
give
less
them
arrows in their
ammo.
quiver.
What I'm saying is the degree to which the ammo would be amplifying and changing whether or not they win more people over or fewer people move to us is not going to change because people don't celebrate it. Because one, it's going to happen anyway. So even if one person does it, it's already there. And I think the threshold, that the Rubicon, if you will, that shouldn't be crossed is when the politicians start doing it. That's when it's not okay. But just going, oh, well, maybe if 10,000 people didn't celebrate or 30,000 people fewer didn't celebrate. No, I don't think this matters in the slightest.
Okay, I think that we can see this is demonstrably not true. Sarcastic Warlock for $5
Who's
says,
this
I'm
guy?
very sad about... Look, hey, dude's financing my stream. $5 for Sarcastic Warlock says, I'm very sad about his death. He had so much more work to do, and only in the best way. Love you, Wick. So you don't know what side you're on. Okay. And then a membership for 14 months, tier 2, Audacity, thank you. The orthodox chicken sacrifice style behavior of putting the onus for behavior on politicians. Thank you for the 14-month tier 2 membership.
I want to talk about that last thing you said. You said this is demonstrably harming our movement. Can you show me how?
Sure. I think the KKK example was a real-world example where we see how they use the actions of their opponents as fuel to further radicalize
I'm aware.
the people
Well,
who
hold
are
on.
in their
I gotta pause you. Because I want to make sure I lay out my criteria. I am
Okay.
aware that showing bad optics is a tactic that people will use. For that example to be evidence that you show me, you would have to show me that there was some significant margin of new recruits to the KKK that joined because they saw a child being spit on. In the same way that
Okay.
you would have to show me that people would have otherwise not voted MAGA or potentially gone on the off board because people were celebrating a Charlie Kirk thing. That's what I would need to
Okay.
see. That's the evidence that would be
Again.
like, oh, this is a very significant harm to the movement. This is changing votes in margins of hundreds, if not thousands, in key swing districts. Like, that's the thing I'm like, oh yeah, maybe we should discourage this more. And I don't see that.
People are saying your mic's so quiet, but I have you.
Did it switch? Maybe my
You're
mic
up
shut
pretty
off.
high.
Give me a sec. I might have switched mics.
Okay, yeah, give it a second. People are saying that I can hear you fine, but I don't know why mine.
No, I'm still using the right one.
But I do want to answer your question. First of all, I would say that again, we're
Thank
not
you, Ash.
talking
And
about
I knew
recruiting
Veterans Day was
people
yesterday. It was a joke.
here. We're talking about keeping people who otherwise might consider leaving the MAGA movement and coming back to the more, even further to the just never Trump or center right. I'd be okay with that, right? I think that it's self-evident that using examples, and they know this is true, right? Because they try this all the time. They're using examples, and they say this: the left wants you dead, the left does not care about you, the left will laugh when you die.
Sure.
And they use these memes as ammo to do that. I think this messaging is going to be said no matter what we do,
Okay.
but I think this messaging has more weight the more examples that they have.
Yes.
Because everyone can kind of ignore, oh, they're just blowing it out of proportion if you have it in onesies and twosies. But when they have a large amount to draw from, then it becomes more something that they're going to take seriously.
How much more? This is my question, because I don't disagree
it's
with
a
your
scale,
premise.
man. I
I don't.
can't give
I
you an
don't
exact
disagree.
percentage.
Well, that's the problem. Is I don't disagree with your premise that obviously giving them more ammo is going to make it easier for them. But the more and more I see this, the more right-wing accounts I follow and see what they post every single day. Right. What is the most one of the most pre-Charlie Kirk prevalent examples of this? Of they want you dead and they don't care, especially from the white nationalists. Maybe can you think of what I'm thinking of right now?
I think they used the punch a Nazi meme a lot. And
I'm thinking more. I'm thinking
punch
more
a Nazi.
recent.
They call you a Nazi. Remember, they call you a Nazi. They want to punch you. This is something that I've seen a lot.
True Fox. I'm thinking something much more recent, which is the stabbing of that Ukrainian girl on the bus, where a crazy guy who happened to be black stabs someone, and they're like, they want you dead. This is the Democratic Party. They endorse this. They are going to try to silence you. They. Who fucking celebrated that? Who got amplified for being like, thank God this poor little innocent Ukrainian woman died? No one. But you know what? That's all it took. Just this one random example of a random crime that had absolutely nothing to do with political alignment. And that is the impetus for thousands of posts, for an entire movement online of they want you dead. So when you say, well, if 10,000 people were out there making Charlie Kirk jokes, that would make a significant margin, I say bullshit. Because you can take something completely irrelevant with no one celebrating, and it will be the worst thing in their minds, and they'll use it to demonize us all. It does not matter. I don't think it does.
These are not apples to apples, man. The thing they used about the Ukrainian girl's death wasn't the fact that leftists were celebrating it. They used the fact that leftists were letting people out of prison.
Yep.
They pointed to his 13 convictions and how they were soft on crime. It was a very different tact that they took there. And that was effective because they were soft on crime in this guy's case. They did let him out of prison in this guy's case, right? And you can argue whether or not they should have, right? And we could talk about it. But the fact that they had this guy who'd been convicted multiple times roaming the streets, again, I think we both agree the justice system failed in this case.
I'm getting kind of hungry. Are we doing a HelloFresh tonight, or? Cool.
Friday, the 17th of July, 1992. Amidst the chaos of the trading floor at Singapore's International Stock Exchange, one of the junior traders makes an expensive mistake. Instead of buying 20 futures contracts for a client, she sold them instead, costing Barings Bank nearly $40,000. To save her job, her boss, Nick Leeson, a young trader keen to make his mark, decides to hide the loss. He puts it in an obscure error account. That's account 88888. It's used by banks to solve small discrepancies in trades. It's a dangerous move, and it should have been picked up by the central office immediately, but when nobody from Barings notices, he gains confidence, convinced he can win back the loss and get the team out of trouble.
I'm operating in the belief that I can get it back. You know, maybe it goes back to the confidence thing. I don't know. I mean, I'm confident I can get it back at that stage.
But Leeson's staggering overconfidence would create a debt of gargantuan proportions and lead to one of the biggest collapses in banking history.
It's easy for me to make the case that overconfidence is the most dangerous of the human biases. Overconfidence gets us into all sorts of trouble. It leads us to take risks, make commitments, enter contests, try things that will ultimately fail, sometimes in costly, embarrassing, and dangerous ways.
Overconfidence has been implicated in almost every big disaster, from the sinking of the Titanic to the Chernobyl nuclear disaster to the loss of the Space Shuttle Challenger. But overconfidence isn't reserved for just a few reckless individuals. We can all fall victim to it. For example, 93% of us think we are better drivers than the median, which is, of course, impossible.
The scale of the problem was identified in some now classic research with a set of simple quiz questions.
True or false, Australia is wider than the moon?
Oh, I bet they're about the same size.
It looks small on a map, but it's huge.
Are there more or less stars in the Milky Way than trees on Earth?
More stars. More stars.
1 teaspoon of pure olive oil, 4.5 grams, contains more chemical potential energy than an equivalent 4.5 gram amount of TNT.
I'm gonna say true.
Oh no. This feels kind of like a trick question.
The energy density of butter is 10 times that of lithium batteries, right? I mean, lithium batteries are rubbish. Everyone's going on about them. Just run your car on butter, I say.
True or false, plants are more efficient than the average solar panel at absorbing the sun's energy.
Yeah. They must be. Now, these aren't the exact questions from the original research, more on those later, but the specifics don't really matter. The interesting bit is what they asked next. How confident are you that you are right?
100% confident.
100% confident?
100, yes.
I think it's true. So I've also got to go 90%.
100%. 100%.
100%?
Yeah.
I don't think we actually had any expectations. This was very early on in the research on confidence assessment, but we didn't really know what we would find.
The results revealed a surprising disparity between how accurate someone thinks they are and how accurate they actually are. When people are 90% certain, they are right only 75% of the time. In fact, we ran our own version of this online and found an even more extreme discrepancy. We asked the Veritasium community a bunch of science questions and then asked how confident they were in their answer. Our results showed that those who were the most confident, describing themselves as 91 to 100% sure, were only correct 51% of the time. Since the original research, these results have been replicated again and again in all areas from general knowledge to motor skills. And it affects everyone, even experts.
I have a paper where we analyze the survey of professional forecasters. These are chief economists at various corporations and banks who are invited to forecast the state of the economy on a quarterly basis. We find that they are, on average, too sure that they know what's going to happen. So they, on average, say there's something like 53% sure they have correctly predicted what's going to happen to inflation, for instance, and they are right like 23% of the time.
How well what you think you know matches with what you actually know is called your calibration. So if you're perfectly calibrated and say 80% confident, you should be right 80% of the time. but most of us are not well calibrated.
100%. 100%? Yeah.
There are 200 billion stars in the Milky Way, but there are 3 trillion trees on it. 100% confident?
100, yes.
False!
Most of the time, being overconfident isn't a huge issue. But for Nick Leeson, the stakes soon became very high. Leeson's plan to recover his team's loss was to bet that the Japanese stock market would go up, so he went long on the top 225 companies in Japan, the Nikkei 225.
Ever since the Japanese asset price bubble peaked 2 years previously, the Nikkei had been dropping from 38,000 to 16,000.
And he was confident the market would soon bottom out and start rising. But it continued to fall. Over the next few weeks, it dropped to a low of 14,000. And the whole time, Nick was betting the wrong way with ever bigger and riskier bets. He would double down, betting double his losses so the next win would bring him back above water. This strategy should work when the next win comes along, but the market collapse was unrelenting, and his losses ballooned from $40,000 to around $3 million. In spite of this, Leeson remained confident. And eventually his luck turned around. In the spring of 1993, the market rebounded up to 20,000, and by the summer, that account was back in credit.
Leeson goes out to celebrate that weekend, drinking and dancing on tables, finally free of the hole he had dug himself into. But on Monday morning, he made another trading error on the futures market, a damaging loss that Leeson didn't want to admit, so he put the loss back into account 88888, confident that if he'd got out of the previous one, he could do it again. He began making risky trades to try to recover that initial loss, and as the losses mounted in the 5/8 account, it became harder and harder to make new trades to cover the last loss.
By the end of 1993, his losses exceeded $30 million. Leeson is obviously an extreme example, but this tendency to overestimate our abilities is something we all share. So the question is why?
The obvious explanation that a lot of people default to, that is, we want to feel good about ourselves and pretend like we're well informed, that we enjoy enormous satisfaction from being able to say, I know, or even better, I told you so. And so we pretend to ourselves and others that we know when we don't. That is the motivated, egocentric version of an explanation for excessive faith in our own judgment.
Reichelt had faith in the idea, if nothing else.
But what if it's something more uncomfortable? Stupidity. Franz Reichelt was a tailor with no formal scientific or engineering training, but he was obsessed with solving the problem of aviation safety.
He spent months designing a parachute suit, which repeatedly failed during testing. But he became convinced the issue was that he didn't have enough height for it to work.
So in February 1912, he took it to the Eiffel Tower, and rather than using a dummy to test it, he jumped himself. Tragic, but also really dumb.
Do you recognize this graph?
The like Dunning-Kruger graph.
Are you confident that this is the actual Dunning-Kruger graph?
Not at all. In fact, I think that this is not the Dunning-Kruger graph. I think that this is a bit of a communication trick.
This is what people call the Mount Stupid curve, which will pop up if you search for the Dunning-Kruger effect into Google Images.
As far as I understand it, it's an effect that says that when you know very little about it, your confidence is high. And as you know more about it, your confidence sinks until you become a master at it.
But I think that the actual result was like a little bit more fuzzy than this.
It was. This graph doesn't actually show the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's just a meme that resonates with a lot of people, and it became conflated with the effect. In their original research, Dunning and Kruger tested people on tasks like grammar, logic, and humor, and then they asked participants to estimate how well they performed. That produced this curve. You can see that those who performed worse had the largest mismatch between their confidence and performance. They were the most overconfident. Those who performed the best were actually slightly underconfident. This suggests that overconfidence may be linked to how much we know. Those who know less think that they know more than they do. But to me, this effect looks a little like a statistical artifact, because while I was doing my PhD, I asked students some physics questions, and I also asked for their confidence in their answers. And when I looked at the results, accuracy spanned the full range from nearly 0% to 100%. But confidence varied over a much narrower range. All the scores were roughly in the middle. This meant that poor performers were the most overconfident, and the highest performers were actually slightly underconfident. This is exactly what Dunning and Kruger found. So maybe overconfidence isn't entirely due to how much we know, but also because most of us express at least kind of middle-of-the-road confidence. But there is another factor at play here, which is how much information our brains are capable of processing.
Monday, the 27th of January, 1986. It's 5:45 p.m. at the Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral, and the engineers from Morton Thiokol, who made the Challenger space shuttle's rocket boosters, make an emergency conference call. They've just seen the weather forecast, predicting temperatures overnight will plummet to 25 degrees Fahrenheit, far colder than any previous shuttle launch. They know the rubber O-rings that seal joints in the boosters become less flexible in the cold, but have just a few hours to gather data, create charts, and present their case. Over the next 6 hours, the engineers present 13 charts with data on O-ring temperature, hot gas erosion, joint rotation, and more. But the data is scattered, incomplete, and not synthesized into a clear narrative.